Another day, another Starlink launch. Welcome to another Falcon 9 launch. It's getting pretty easy to say that now, isn't it? Today I am joined, it isn't just me today, I am also joined by Aaron. Yep.
Up there because my audio's not plugged in, and I apologise,
Okay.
folks. Nobody could hear me.
Yep. I will reiterate what he said there.
People can
I
hear me
heard it.
now. Hi guys, I'm another space nut. Sorry, I've had to put it into this studio variant today. I don't have the microphone audio set up anywhere else. Long-time viewers will remember me. I'm another space nut. Some of you newbies might not remember me. I'm a little bit more behind the scenes. Figured I'd join Jack here today. Oh, that side shows how long it's been since I've streamed, I guess. For another Starlink launch today.
Yep. It is absolutely great. We was just talking about there when he realised the mistake of no audio. That it's a new booster for Starlink today.
New booster, folks. Let us know what you think to this in the chat. Is this a trend? Are we going to start to see more and more new boosters for SpaceX Starlink missions?
Hmm. I'm trying to like consider this personally. Is I doubt it. Are they running out of flight-proven boosters? Like where there's like a command for a cheaper price on the flight-proven boosters, and like let's just put one on a Starlink launch so we have more supply. Because some people want the cheaper price of a proven booster. Only like the NRO want a new booster.
I mean, it must really show just how much SpaceX have come a long way, because there was a point in time when nobody trusted SpaceX, and like the idea of a flight proven booster scared a lot of people, and NASA especially. Look at the certification required for a flight proven booster. And now NASA are
Yeah,
comfortable using flight proven boosters to even send astronauts to the space station. That's an amazing achievement.
yeah,
What do we think?
absolutely.
Chat looks hyped. Justine,
It
well,
does.
I'm glad to be back on the stream, Justine. I figured I'd come give Jack a hand. These new kids need to learn how these experts do it. Risto, we've got Let's Go, we hyped. Come on, arm shakes. I know Astro Liz will probably be watching this back later. We need some arm shakes. Whoa! We need some ice cream.
Let's go.
When we
Uh,
go back
yep.
to the main studio shortly, we will be putting viewer questions on stream for myself and Jack to answer. So anybody watching, feel free to put those questions in the chat. We are about 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 11 minutes exactly from SpaceX going live. We should have a
Yep.
nice video for you then.
I'm just trying to think about this again personally about that debate I said earlier about is there not enough like proven boosters? Because say customers with lower budgets might demand a flight proven booster for the better cost.
I mean,
Do,
it's good that it allows a varying option, doesn't it? You can go for the cheaper cost or the more expensive cost for, I guess, almost a reliability assurance. Some people still are skeptical of the reliability of a flight proven booster.
I would arguably say flight proven boosters are sometimes actually more reliable than new boosters, new hardware. Some things haven't been done right in factory, but after that first flight, it gets inspected, and also some of the new boosters have had really rough landings.
I mean, it's a shaky ride back to shore as well, isn't it, for some of these boosters? Imagine landing on a drone ship at sea, because, like, the engineering marvel for me comes, like, everybody thinks, okay, we see these boosters return, great, I absolutely love seeing a return. But to think that that
Yeah,
lands with almost pinpoint precision on a moving boat at sea, like, it's not like going to a river or a lake, is it? it's really vicious waves, and these rockets can land with precision. And it is a rough ride back. We have seen booster losses before now on the ride back.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what Octograbber, I suppose, is to try and stop. But sometimes Octograb just doesn't work. I've saw that a few times where they've had to chain the booster down to the deck.
and I mean, it's testament once again. You know, SpaceX are engineering solutions, but there is a team on hand, like you say, chaining boosters down when autograbbers fail and things like that. And there's a lot of hardworking people creating a
Yeah.
revolution.
I did also see yesterday they didn't actually land in the Bahamas yesterday.
Did they
It
not?
was no, it was the drone ship was actually in basically normal and like a normal position.
Huh. That's interesting. I know they were scheduled to land in the Bahamas according to the original trajectory of the return for Falcon. I wonder what
It,
changed.
it could be like they calculated orbits again. They thought like fuel margins on the Starlinks would
Hmm.
go to critical levels.
This is fair. If you can save fuel, it's not only for the booster, but it's for the drone ship's return as well, isn't it? If you can get it closer to home already, then there's a quicker turnaround time. There's less problems going wrong
Yeah,
at sea and things like this. Are we
that
hyped,
is.
chat? Let us know in the chat. What do we think? Brand new
Yeah,
booster,
absolutely.
none of those sooty ones, delivering SpaceX Starlink today.
Can we get a new booster bang in chat? No, that sounded like I wanted the booster to blow up. I want the evaluate that sentence.
We are
Um,
just about 7 minutes away from SpaceX going live, folks. So bear
yeah,
with us. We get to see another Starlink mission. I guess people get bored of these missions quickly, don't they? Now they're like clockwork almost.
yeah. We're like, oh, that happens then. That happens then. But I never really kind of falls the like the buzz of it on liftoff doesn't really wear off at all though.
So I mean, I'm just looking up numbers now. Think about this. SpaceX started launching 60 satellites at a time, and now it's averaging 52, 54.
Yeah, it's because of the massive satellites.
There's 1,915 SpaceX Starlink satellites currently on orbit.
Right, let's get the calculator. Let's see how many satellites did you say there?
1,915.
Right, 50, and you say in this case, say there's 55 satellites on average
I mean,
on each
I'd say
mission.
flight proven boosters are more reliable if I'm being honest.
That
Like,
means that means there was 35 missions just to get that.
say maybe flight proven. I'd say so because they've proven that they're in. Like,
Yeah,
if you've got a manufacturing defect that you're unaware of, I guess it becomes present on the first flight of a booster, not the fourth flight, doesn't it? So I definitely say that flight, if you, because you see a lot, but
yeah,
like reliability in the launch industry is an important one. I know Tori Bruno is quite proud of the reliability of the Atlas series of rockets. Which fair comment. You know they've got a really high mission success rate. Um,
yeah.
but
You
then you
also
also learn from failures, don't you?
yeah, you also need to think about though how in depth these inspections after a flight actually are. Like to see if parts are wearing out, parts are showing aspects that need replacing. Are those being caught?
I mean, he's still got a quicker turnaround time than a shuttle, so I'd say we're winning.
That is true.
I
And
believe
even
currently, if I'm not mistaken, the life leader for landings is 15, isn't it, Jack? Is it 15 or 12?
s-
I am
let's go.
sure my good
I'm going
friend
to Bristol
Stinger.
SpaceX. Bristol Space. Let's go. Let's look here. It really like I think.
I
What's the name of the website again?
I will post a link for our YouTube viewers here today, folks. BoostersSPX.com is run by Stinger NSW, good friend of Total Space, good friend of mine, long time Patreon supporter of the channel, and all round really good bloke. Check that website out.
I
Absolutely
cannot find that
fantastic
website.
job he's done. I
Could,
will send you a link, Jack.
yeah, I can see if I not find it.
There we go.
Right, there we go.
We are
Thank you.
just about 3.5 minutes away from SpaceX going live, so
Let's
you'll have
go.
something better than these mugs to look at shortly, folks. We'll have a beautiful Falcon 9 rocket.
Right, okay. Let's have a look. I believe, that's psych. That's the one that's going today. That's B173, and that is assigned to today's mission for Starlink 415. It's a brand new booster. Other boosters are currently we're getting assigned slash retired, but there is ones that there is like say B1069. That's only had one flight, but there's no signs of it going again.
I'm currently trying to find the live leader for you. I think it's either 12 or
12.
15
I think
landings
it's
for the live
12.
leader.
Right, 1062's got the turnaround record. I believe it is B1051 and B1058, which have 12 flights. Yep, believe so. But the thing is, as well, with these rockets, yep. So
I'm back.
basically, the li I don't like to say this, but you'd rather a flight-proven booster have an anomaly on a Starlink mission than say a NASA mission where they lose all
There we go. Justine
lose.
is the winner in the
Yeah,
chat, folks. The current live leader for SpaceX Starlink boosters is 12. It's
yep,
B1051. Could be the first call
yep.
to do 13 flights, even according to Justini, which I'd imagine is very much possible.
It's I know it's hard to say, but you'd rather have an anomaly on a Starlink mission
We've
than
got splash screen from SpaceX.
cool. Rather have an anomaly on a Starlink mission than say a NASA mission where they lose all hope and SpaceX and and customers start cancelling orders. Can you hear me?
I can, sorry, I apologise. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to set this up in a way that we don't get a copyright strike for the
Yeah.
audio. Do. There we go.
There's three. We have got boosters now assigned to Psyche. That is obviously the NASA Falcon Heavy mission. We have 1074. We also have 1075 and 1072. RIP 1073. Oh, that's flying today actually.
Booster
So I've got
SpaceX, by the way, folks, is also on
yep,
Twitter. I'm just going to post a link here as well. Anybody watching back, follow this account on Twitter.
yep.
Are we hyped, chat? We've got a launch, another Starlink launch.
Let's go. We are currently about 10 minutes away from launch. This rock. Did they used to do static fires on Starlink?
They did. They used to static fire every booster.
And they don't do it on Starlink anymore. I think it's only for like they'll have it for, obviously for crew missions. Is that them showing like a lot of confidence in the system, but also a kind of I wouldn't say cockiness, but yeah. We are getting close to SpaceX going live.
Let's light this candle. We are about 10 minutes away from launch time, folks, so SpaceX should be on any moment,
Yeah,
giving us some nice shots of this Falcon 9 today. We won't be
we
expecting to
should.
see a SOTI booster, as this is the first use for this booster, which I'm going to have to eat a proverbial hat, because I was discussing last night to Jack here how
Yep.
SpaceX wouldn't use a fresh core for Starlink missions.
Yes.
And
Last night's view of the pad was absolutely beautiful.
it was.
Clear day, absolutely, it looked amazing. So I'll go for a timeline for you um this mission. So obviously at T0 we will have liftoff the Falcon 9. We will then have the rocket go through Max
SpaceX
Q, which
alive.
is yep. We will then have the rocket go through Max Q, which is the maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. The vehicle will also throttle down during this part of the flight. We will then come up to main engine cutoff. That is where the first stage engines run out of most of the fuel beside the landing entry burn and landing burn fuel and separate from the second stage. The second stage will then ignite and the fairings will also jettison, getting ready to get caught by, well, not caught, they get picked up out of the ocean now. We'll then see the first stage do a entry burn, which slows down its velocity to a speed which means it can burn up on re-entry to the atmosphere. We'll then see the landing burn of the Falcon 9 first stage, which when the landing legs deploy, and
And welcome
this,
to
I
our
believe it's the
Starlink
center
webcast.
engines on
Our
the
launch
Falcon
today
9
marks SpaceX's
ignite
20th
to slow
launch
down
of
the
the year
vehicle
and
for
the
a safe
47th Starlink mission
for
overall.
soft
Now, if you've been
touchdown
following
on
along,
the
you'll
drone
know
ship
that
on the
this is our
ocean.
second Starlink
The
launch in
crews
under
are
24 hours.
quite far
We
away at
lifted
this
off from
point,
our West
and the drone
Coast
is
launch
fully
pad yesterday,
autonomous,
and today we'll follow
which means it
Falcon
keeps
9's
its
ascent
position all
from
by
Launch Complex
itself.
40 at Cape
We
Canaveral
will
Space Force
then
Station
see
in
the
Florida.
the second
Thanks for tuning
stage
in.
engine
My name
shut
is
down
Shiva
and enter a
Bharadvaj. I'm
coasting
a space
period,
operations engineer, and I'll be your
and I
host for
believe
today's
that
flight.
engine will start
Now, for those of
again.
you that are new to our
We will then
webcast,
see
Starlink is a
the
constellation
Starlink
designed
satellite separate from the Falcon 9, and that is the end of this mission. Another routine mission. So, as you can see here, I've got dirty fading by Clean Booster.
Dirty fairing on a clean booster. SpaceX, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. It's crazy how a fairing looks so simple, even though they cost like $1 million a piece.
It's a
It's
beautiful piece
unbelievable.
of engineering, to be fair. He's a fairing.
You always think it's just a couple of latches and they just fall away, like.
Shall we put the
Well,
SpaceX audio on for the folks here today?
I believe so,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, we got Spartanak in the chat, ladies and gents.
Welcome.
R.I.P. Miss Tree Justine, I agree.
Yep.
How are you doing, Spartanak, my friend? Long time no see. We excited for the launch
Yeah.
today.
Talk about Miss Tree there. It, I think they set their ambitions too high, and when they realised these can splash down fine with parafoils and they don't do damage and require minimal refurbishment.
I
Why are we
think
making
it
stuff
was
complex when we don't
worth
need
an
it?
effort given the refurb that it requires after taking saltwater on board. But ultimately, Elon Musk has always been considered a guy that knows when to throw the towel in on something and when something's worth running with.
Yeah.
And it just makes sense to save costs. There was less than 50% success rate in catching them. Drastically less than 50% success rate in recovering them direct. So it just makes sense to fish them, I guess.
It's also, like, talking about going back to Starship here, they got rid of the hot and cold thrusters on Starship and decided to just use venting as altitude control. Because they realised it's too complex, there's too many failure modes. and we don't really need it. We've got other ways.
So shall we listen into the SpaceX audio for a little while, Jack?
Yeah, let's go. The top of the
The
rocket.
Merlin vacuum engine has a much larger nozzle, and that allows the second stage to perform better in the vacuum of space. You might also notice that the second stage resembles the first stage quite a bit. Not only does it look similar, it also has the same diameter, uses the same metal in the tanks, the same computers, the same propellant, and nearly the same engine. This allows us to use similar tooling, design, and systems to essentially build 2 rockets that are more reliable. At the very top of the rocket, we have the payload fairing. The fairing is composed of 2 composite structures. They come together to protect the Starlink satellites until we reach the vacuum of space. Once we get to second engine cutoff, we'll separate the fairing halves and jettison them back to Earth and attempt to retrieve them. Both of the fairing halves protecting our Starlink satellites will be flying for their second time.
Can we get some love in the chat for
Following
just read the
separation
instructions?
from the second stage, we will also be attempting to recover the first stage for
Toast
its
to
first
death.
time on
Is
our
that
drone ship
corrosion, or
named
is it
Just
just
Read the
pure
Instructions, which is
debate
stationed out
'cause
in the
they-
Atlantic Ocean. If we're successful, it'll
I'd
mark
imagine a
our
little bit of both.
120th overall recovery of a Falcon first stage.
And they're using water to fan the flame.
Beautiful day at the Cape today. We're monitoring
The
some weather
question
earlier,
is,
but the weather has
see if-
continued to get better
It
and
may be a
better,
weird question, but see
looking
if
towards
rockets
80 to
like
90%
this,
chance of go weather.
could
But
you
for
use
some
water
reason,
to
we
extinguish
don't
the
lift
control
off
flame
today.
like that?
We will have
If
the
you
backup
use enough
opportunity
water?
tomorrow, May 15th at 4:12 p.m. Eastern Time.
Probably
Sure
not.
thing.
We've got a view of
I'm
the
just thinking
payload
Sea
fairing
Dragon.
and the second stage, and you can see that the clamp arms on the transporter erector have just started to open.
I mean, Sea
the
Dragon
transporter
was a
erector
good
is that truss
concept.
structure you see to the
It's a
left of
shame,
the
really,
vehicle. Now, the
uh,
transporter erector
yeah.
was used to roll the Falcon 9 out to the pad and raise it to
went
this
the way of
vertical launch
science
position.
fiction is what I was going to say,
And
and
it
then
also
Jack beat me
routes the
to it.
vehicle's fluids, power, and telemetry
What, for
between the
mankind?
ground
Yeah.
systems and both the rockets and
Good
the satellite.
concept, so like
And
Red
also
Dragon
Shortly
as
here,
well.
we'll
If,
see the
the Red
transporter
Dragon was the
erector,
idea of using
retracting away from the
the
vehicle.
super
You can see
Draco
it
thrusters
on
on
the
a
left-hand
Dragon
side.
capsule
This is in
to
preparation for
propulsively
launch.
land on Mars.
Could also do they are planning to do on Earth as well instead of splashing down. That'd been so cool.
Now, as I
But you
mentioned
need to think
before,
about
this is our
hypergolics
second
after that
Starlink launch
happens
in
and-
less than 24 hours. So this weekend, we'll put up just over 100 Starlink satellites to support our
And you'd
growing
need,
network.
it would be
We
super
launch our
cool.
Starlink satellites into low Earth
3
orbit
minutes
And also
because
they-
it's the most responsible
And
thing
need
to
to
do
think how the
for
legs
keeping
come out
space
of the
clean,
shield, but
but
the
also
shield
because
won't
it
fall
results
off.
in better service.
Can we get a go in the chat? Or we
We
go
use
for launch,
super
chat?
advanced satellites in a low Earth orbit, and because of
Hopefully.
that, Starlink can support
I
video
really hope
calls,
so.
online gaming, streaming, and other high data rate activities that historically haven't been possible
Let me have a
with
look
satellite
here.
internet.
Where's the next
The team is
Starlink mission?
also
Let's
rapidly
get to it.
expanding areas where we can offer service, as you can see on our new availability map. And one
Right,
of the
let's
biggest
see
hurdles
here.
to providing
Wednesday
service in many countries
at 10
is
PM
regulatory
BST.
approval. So we're continuing to push hard for that, and our hope is that we can turn on
Wednesday.
service for a lot more people in the near future. If you'd like to check out our current service areas for yourself, head on over to our
You're
website
busy doing
at
exams, aren't you, Jack? And they're
starlink.com/map.
much more important than streaming. But that
you just
isn't
heard
to
a
say
call
that
out
we
for
won't be
LOX
streaming
loading
here on
complete
Total
on the
Space.
first
It
stage.
just means that Jack
We
won't
used
be
2
streaming.
propellants on Falcon 9, liquid oxygen,
Yeah, I've
and
got exam in the
RP1,
first day
rocket
morning,
propellant
and
1. Coming up
Thanks,
next, we'll
Roger.
hear a similar
Last
call
minute
out for the
cramming
second stage on the
session
vehicle
Wednesday
for
night
LOX
would be a
loading
better
complete.
use of your time than
That
streaming.
expected
because
around T plus 2 minutes. Following that, the
If it was
transporter
physics,
erector,
I
which I
could
talked
name
about
it.
earlier,
Call it some
which
sort of
routes
study.
those
Planetary
fuel and
Space asks,
oxidizer to
is
the
this
vehicle,
the most Starlinks
will
launched in one launch?
conduct some
They're
venting
actually
as we
much
clear out the
less
lines
than
in
they used to
preparation
be.
for launch.
Due to a heavier satellite now, they used to launch 60 per batch. It's now 52
Yeah.
per batch.
And you can see a
Yeah,
little
it's,
bit
it's
of
because of the mass and
that
size of the satellites as
clouds
well.
forming around
We
the
are just going
vehicle.
to be
That's because
switching
the
myself
tanks
and
are pretty
Jack
cold
off
right
shortly,
now
folks, so
with
you
that
guys
cold,
can
super
get the
chilled
best
liquid
possible
oxygen,
views of
LOX load is
SpaceX's
complete.
live stream today.
which we just finished loading on the
The
second
Balls
stage.
gives it a go for
And
launch.
so you're seeing the moist
Hopefully we
Florida
don't get
air
deafened.
forming literal clouds as it condenses
Have
around
you
the
all
vehicle.
got your
Okay.
eardrums ready?
Ground gas, close up.
Earphone warning.
With that call out for ground glass
If you are wearing
closeouts, we've
earphones, turn the
vented the
volume on your
lines in
device
the
down
transporter
because some
erector
of
that's
our
causing that
listeners
big plume of
exclusively
cloud you see
like
right
the
next to the
best
vehicle.
possible audio.
Coming up next, about
try and
15
do that.
seconds, Falcon
We'll see
9 will
you back
transition
at about
into
T plus
startup.
1 minute, folks. Enjoy
From
the
there,
launch,
the
Ad
first and
Astra,
second
and
stages
go
will begin
SpaceX.
pressurized for flight, and the vehicle will be autonomous for the rest of the launch. and looking like a clear, beautiful day at Florida for an on-time
Falcon 9
liftoff.
is in startup.
So with that call out, Falcon 9 is autonomous through the rest of the launch. Launch director will give their final go for launch up next.
Starlink 415, LD, go for launch.
So with that, the LD, or launch director, giving their final go for launch. We're just over 30 seconds to go. Range green, weather green, Falcon looking healthy. With just 30 seconds to go, let's watch Falcon take 53 Starlinks to low Earth orbit.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. And liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Falcon is pitching downrange. M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
Successful liftoff of Falcon 9 from Space Launch Complex in Florida, bringing 53 Starlink satellites into orbit. This first stage lifting off for its first time. Now, although at liftoff, gravity is pulling straight down on the rocket, as we ascend, we tilt the engines. That's called gimbaling, and we begin to turn the rocket horizontally. So we're still going up, but we're starting to pick up sideways
What an
speed
amazing
away
launch.
from the pad.
What a launch.
This is called a gravity turn.
So
this is what we use to get ourselves into orbit. Coming up next, we'll expect
We're in
a
it for the
call-out
crackle,
for maximum
folks. We're
dynamic
crackle
pressure, or
junkies.
max Q.
Yeah, you know when
Maximum
a
aerodynamic
Bristol,
pressure.
when a payload is
So
like,
max Q
depending
being
on
the
how
point
fast the Bristol
where
lifts
the
off, have you
stresses
still
are
that in
highest
7
on the
SpaceX
vehicle, we're
missions?
speeding up,
Watch
the
some that
atmosphere
much.
is getting less
You see,
dense,
that
and
lifts
so
off
there's
fucking
a point
unusual.
of maximum pressure on the vehicle. So now that we're through that,
Obviously
it should
because
be
of
easier and
payload weight,
easier for
etc.
Falcon to get into orbit. Now we've got 3 events coming up about a minute from now. The first of those
We
being
are
main
looking
engine
good on
cutoff,
ascent,
Engine chill.
or
and we
MECO.
are getting
That's where we'll shut
towards
down all
MECO.
9 of the Merlin 1D engines.
I'm just going
in
to have to drop
preparation
off
for
for
the
a
next
little while,
event, which is
folks. I'm
stage
just going to leave you in the
separation, where
capable
the
hands
first
of
and
Jack.
second stages
But thanks for
will
having me
separate from
tonight,
one another.
folks,
First stage
and enjoy the
continuing
rest of
back
the
towards planet Earth for
recovery process and everything,
and the
Jack.
second
I'm going to
stage
drop off at this
continuing
point.
on to that third
If
event,
you're not already
second engine
subscribed,
start
remember
number
to
1.
subscribe, folks,
That's
and
we heard
any
a call
support
out
we can
for
receive on Patreon or
engine
channel
chill
membership
beginning
definitely
on the
helps
Merlin
as
vacuum
we
engine that's
avoid
prepping the
sponsorship.
turbo
We are
pump on the
self-funded.
Merlin vacuum in preparation for
Enjoy
full
the rest of your night,
propellant
folks,
flow.
and good luck with the rest of the stream, Jack.
Shortly after second engine
You too.
start
Well,
of the Merlin vacuum,
enjoy your
we'll
night.
also have fairing deployment.
Right,
Once
we
we're
are
in the
currently
vacuum of
looking
space, we
good.
don't
2
need to
minutes into
carry
flight, and
those
we're
fairing
coming
halves
towards
anymore. We'll bring
MECO.
them back to planet Earth for
Not the
recovery.
MECO we know.
So coming up, MECO, stage step, SES-1.
And
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed.
MECO confirmed. We should get second engine start here. Yep, we can
MVAC
see it.
ignition.
And second engine has
Separation
started.
confirmed.
Awesome.
And
so
it's
those 4
being deployed.
events
Beautiful
happening.
view.
Maybe we'll get an
Those
extra shot
Starlink
of those
satellites are
fairing
now
halves heading
exposed to
back
space.
to planet Earth. You can see on the right-hand side of your screen, well, there's the Merlin vacuum and a fairing half. Left-hand side, you can see the first stage is deploying its grid fins with an amazing view of our planet behind it.
We're looking good.
And we also saw a view
We're good.
earlier of those
We're
Starlink
looking
satellites
good here.
getting to see the vacuum of space for the first time.
That Bristol has now deployed
the
its
next
grid
major
fins
events
and
will
will
happen
soon
about
begin
3
its
minutes
entry
from
burn
now.
to
They'll
slow
happen
down
on
its
the first
velocity
stage, which is on the left-hand side of your screen.
velocities which can survive
That'll
the
be
entry
entry burn
into
on
Earth's
the first
dense
stage.
atmosphere.
And so during the entry burn, we'll ignite 3 of the Merlin 1D engines as we start to get to the thicker parts of the Earth's atmosphere. And that reduces the loads and the heating on
uncanny
the
how
first
easy
stage
it
as
is
we start to
sometimes, isn't it?
re-enter the atmosphere,
Wow.
making it easier for us to recover the vehicle. You're seeing periodic bursts of white gas on the vehicle, like there, that is from our attitude control system
Signal, Bermuda.
on the first stage.
Wow.
So we carry nitrogen
Don't know how
gas.
people can look at that view
And
and
because
say Earth is
there's
flat.
no air, or very limited air, I should say, in the vacuum
How
of
can they
space,
say this is CGI?
the attitude control gas is what's giving us force to change the orientation and get the engines pointed
Do
down.
they think they can
Those
develop
grid fin
CGI
structures,
overnight?
you
Never
see
know.
2 of them on your screen on the left-hand side.
Wow.
Can't do much with the vacuum of space, so we have to use the attitude control thrusters to orient the engines down. Right-hand side of your screen, you can see the orange glow of our Merlin
You're
vacuum
halfway
engine on the
towards
second
in our
stage.
waypoints towards
It'll
that
continue
entry
burning
bomb.
until about
It's a brand new
T plus
booster,
8 minutes, 50
and
seconds or
it'll
so.
soon
It's got a long
begin
burn ahead of
its
it to take
first
those
baby
53 Starlink
re-entry to
satellites
Earth.
into orbit.
Both stages are on nominal.
It only
trajectories.
takes some heat from the other boosters, but
With that call out there, we're hearing from the ground
that was
team
really
that
cheesy. I just
both the
realised
stages
that.
are right where we expect them to be.
Cool, no problem.
As a reminder, the first stage is heading
Wowza.
to our drone ship named Just Read the Instructions, which is stationed out in the Atlantic Ocean. It's changing its orientation so we can get the engines pointed down for the upcoming
We
entry
are
burn, where
totally
we'll ignite 3
nominal,
Merlin engines.
and we
That
are
burn will
looking
last
perfecto.
about 20 seconds. And that's to slow down the stage in preparation for gliding through the Earth's atmosphere. As we start to pick up density in the Earth's atmosphere, those grid fins becoming more and more
Wow.
effective in controlling the flight path of the booster towards our drone ship. Once we get to the drone ship, just above it, we'll
We should
have another
soon get that
burn.
entry bomb. You can
That'll be the
actually see
landing
the
burn.
cover
We'll
of the
ignite
Earth there.
just one
Wow.
Merlin engine, the center Merlin engine. Then we'll deploy the landing legs and hopefully have a soft touchdown on Just Read the Instructions. Second stage burn, continuing to look nominal, taking 53 Starlink satellites into orbit. Now, if you're just joining us, you came at a good
Now
time.
we should
We're
get
coming
entry
up on
bombs
entry burn
start
on
up
the
in the
left-hand
next few
side of your
seconds or
screen.
so. Where the center Merlin
Stage 1
engines
FTSS
start to slow down the velocity of the Falcon 9
Stage 1
first
engine burn
stage.
startup.
And there we go, Falcon
So
9
nominal
entry
start
bomb start.
of the entry burn. We're flying through our plume, so we use a carbon-based propellant, hydrocarbon-based propellant, and so that's actually what causes the soot to appear on our reflown boosters.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
This burn lasting just about 20 seconds, just enough to slow us down as we start getting into the
Whoa.
thicker parts of the atmosphere.
And I believe our entry
And from
bomb
here on,
shut
you'll
down.
see
Yes, we
more
do.
action
That
from
was
the grid
very
fins.
jittery,
They'll rotate a little
as I
bit
guess I can
to
say.
keep the stage on track towards our drone ship.
Oh, I can 100% see it descending in the Earth's atmosphere right there. You can see
Next
everything
major
getting
event
closer.
coming up on the first stage. That'll be the landing burn at about T plus 8 minutes, about a minute from now.
Stage 1 trajectory nominal.
And of course, views
That
on
burn
stage
lasting
1.
about 20 seconds
Should regain those shortly.
as we briefly lose the video feed there on the first stage. Coming back to a view of the
Stage
second
2
stage.
is looking
Now,
normal.
it's been
and
burning
it's
since
engine bomb
stage separation,
due
about
to this only
2.5
having one
minutes into flight.
due to having one
And it'll
engine.
continue its burn
This
for
is
about another
incredibly efficient.
minute,
Stage 1 is transonic.
15 seconds. Targeting shutdown just around T plus
And it can also
8
gimbal
minutes, 50
to
seconds,
up its
9 minutes in
orbit
flight.
slightly. I've just lost complete trajectory, complete views on both on the first stage. We have got those
Here we
views
go,
back.
exciting view from the first stage. We'll expect to
Entry
see
burn has
entry burn
been
startup,
complete.
or excuse me, landing burn startup here.
Stage
And
1
we
landing
can
burn.
see the landing
So there's
bomb
ignition of
start
the center
up.
Merlin engine. You can see the grid fins helping guide us towards the drone
We
ship.
should see those legs deploy in the next few seconds.
And we'll expect to see the landing legs deploy just before we touch
Stage
down.
2 terminal guidance.
You can see that our speed is rapidly
one
coming down to
landing
0.
leg.
There's landing
Yep,
leg
and there we
deploy.
go.
Oh,
Middle
and a
of the
lovely
drone ship.
touchdown.
It's uncanny how
This
easy to make it
booster's
look.
first
Wow.
landing, the
You need to remember people, this
111th
is a
recovery
ship
of a
in the
Falcon
middle of
9
the
first
ocean.
stage booster.
No humans need
For many
it.
more flights to come.
This booster, it's bobbing on the waves.
Coming up,
It's,
second
this-
stage,
this
coming
boosters
to
came from
its
orbit
first,
from
or excuse me, its
hundreds
next
of miles
activity,
away
second engine cutoff number 1.
to land pinpoint in the middle of a
And the
drone
ground
ship.
teams will then assess the orbital trajectory. and give
Sometimes
us
I
a
don't think
call
we
out if we're
realise
right
how
where we intended to be.
complex and how amazing
Second
that
engine
actually
cutoff.
is. And
So
with the
successful
recovery of
shutdown
the first
of the
stage,
Merlin vacuum
that is
engine.
going to end
Expect a
our
loss of signal.
broadcast for today. So thank you as always for joining me and ASN uh, for this mission. It's a great privilege to have you celebrating SpaceX's I can't even think of the word there. Think of SpaceX's accomplishments. We hope to see you again in a SpaceX or other company launches, including Boeing, in the next week or so. So have a good night or day, and ad astra.